What's up, everybody? Yeah, Tuesday. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. It is a beautiful day here in the Fulkerson household. It's our first day of our homeschool kind of co-op group. So with that being said, I'm going to go a little bit shorter than usual today. We've been doing a half hour. I want to try to fly through this thing today, get done in probably about 15 minutes or so. I want to make sure that I get as many people's questions answered as I can, but I want to try to keep this to about a 15-minute session today. So hopefully that's good for you guys. I will do my best to get through as many things as I can in that allotted time. But it's, first day of school, all the picture, all that kind of stuff. I get to be dad today. I like it when I get to be dad. So Khan Academy is back. Yeah, we actually run a homeschool group called Portico out of our house. We're the host family, so we got a bunch of people coming over. So, all right, let's get rolling. Let me shrink my giant head again. All right. So this morning on the S&P, we did maintain some of that bullish momentum yesterday, unable to come back through that little breakout area that we had spoken about. Had a nice pop up throughout the day. Did come into near our supply level. We've actually come to our 15-minute supply level. But what's happening there at our 15-minute supply level? What are we seeing occurring at our 15-minute supply level? We're seeing a bit of basing. And that little bit of basing there in front of the 15-minute supply means if you got into it, you got in a little premature. And I think that that's actually not going to hold now that we have that basing, right? Basing is the kiss of death before a level. If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Now, I am going to put a little level here at 33.85 by 33.83. Now, my stop would have to go, remember in this case that my stop would have to go below my wick down here at 33.80, so just below that 33.80 level. So if we get a little bit of a pullback into there, I'm going to be very willing to get long on a pullback into that zone. As far as supply up above me, because we just took off that little 15-minute level, we don't really have any more supply for a little while. And then on the 4-hour, we don't have a higher swing high as of yet, but we're definitely gaining a bit more momentum, kind of rolling a bit higher. So looking at the NASDAQ from yesterday's trade. Now, yesterday's NASDAQ short, we had this little hourly supply area, and we poked just above it. But look at the high on this candle. So our high on this candle was 11,349 quarter, which is just below where our stop was set. Those of you guys that follow our trade updates, our trade update was when we got into that NASDAQ level, we were looking at a stop at 11,350.75. Now, target 1 was at 11,218, and target 2 was at 11,171. So, 11,218, we got to that one pretty quickly. It was about a 3-candle move that it took to get there. But then the second target, quite literally, if you look at the low on this candle, was 11,174. So just barely missed target 2 by 2 points. So hopefully you're able to take a little bit of profit out of that. It did not give us the full boat, but what happened in the overnight? Well, what happened in the overnight is then we got a little pop above this 11,348. Now, why is that 11,348 really an important mark? The reason that level is kind of an important mark is because that area has not yet been, that was our Globex high in the NASDAQ that had not yet been broken through. Remember, the S&P, we pointed this out yesterday, broke through the Globex high right here and has stayed above it ever since. The NASDAQ did not get above it, actually stayed below it, but on yesterday's move up. So in the overnight, anybody that's trading maybe that's in that overnight markets, if you're up and awake, you may have caught a little breakout. If you caught a little breakout, I think that's actually a pretty good trade. We didn't quite get, super quality basing in front of that level. So I don't know that it would have qualified because that basing's not quite at the line, and I don't have a clear third touch, so it doesn't quite qualify for our full basing rules. But I think that it does set up for a nice reversal trade right here at 11,317 by 11,292. Okay. Russell, we had a bit of basing there before the level yesterday. and then it just rallied up throughout the day. So that basing there before the level, theoretically, you're going to want to make sure that's going to disqualify the level, right? Basing is the kiss of death, as we say pretty regularly. So I will say, though, that basing does set up for a potential reversal trade on a pullback into this 1519 by 1516 area. All right. I know I went through those equity markets pretty quickly. Does anybody have any specific questions on those three equity markets? And I don't normally analyze the Dow during the daily market commentary, but any questions on those three equity markets? If you do, let me know. For now, I'm going to share this grid. Let's see, I've got a demand zone. I've got a demand zone at 1513 on the Russell. So when I look at the rut, are you talking this one right here, Olsey? Yes, that is a very, oh no, that's 1510. 1513. So is it the pivot, the 1510 by 1505? The origin of this move? Yes, okay. Yeah, so I think that is a pretty clean level. I don't know that we're going to make it back to that level. That's why I put this one here first. If you have that one there, that's actually very clean, especially because we've got a 90-degree move away from that zone. You could do the more conservative way to enter this is to make the first level a confirmation entry and the second level a limit entry if you wanted to have both levels. I'm actually okay taking a limit entry at both at the moment. Because I think that they're both pretty clean levels for right now. All right. Let's go take a look next at commodities. So looking at crude oil. So crude oil yesterday, we came very sideways throughout the whole day. It continued to stay sideways. I have nothing else to add. Our supply level still very much intact up here. I am going to put an alert in front of this supply level only because I'm going to be away from the computer this morning. And since I'm going to be away from the computer this morning, I'm going to throw an alert on there, knowing that I can always go back in and just enter the trade, set it up if we get there. Why do I put an alert instead of the set it and forget it? Why don't I just do set it and forget it trades? Now, by the way, it's a lot sexier to tell people, well, just do set it and forget it trades, and you don't have to be in front of your computer, and you never have to look at it again after you set it up. Why don't I do that? Somebody tell me if you in the chat box, why am I setting an alert instead of just setting up the trade for right now? And I had one person sometimes say, well, you're just not confident in your levels. And that's not the case. I'm actually very confident in this level. Very good. Nick and Olsey, you're nailing it. I have to know what the arrival is going to be to the level. If I don't know what my arrival looks like, then I'm not going to know if there's any basing. And that takes us right back to that Russell trade we just talked about. Basing before the level is the kiss of death. And I cannot allow for basing to happen right in front of the zone. Now, when I say right in front, what do I mean? I mean, if this is my risk tolerance, right? Let's say, so in this trade, this is my risk. If I get any basing within the distance of 38.62 up, that would mean that I have less than a 1-to-1 reward to risk ratio. If I get any basing in front of 38.32, that means I have less than a 2-to-1 reward to risk ratio. And so I'm not gonna just willy-nilly set and forget. And I know that by the way, that sounds a whole heck of a lot better and it's a lot easier to talk about, but it's just not realistic, at least in my experiences, right? I've not found that true set it and forget trading is the way to go. Let's see. Joe says, question on the demand zone identifying the NQ. There's a supply zone just above it. Will it hold? And I'll pop back to it real quick. No problem, Joe. So are you talking the 15-minute supply zone? So we had a 15-minute supply zone right here that I've taken off the chart, and I took that one off. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I took it off in the ES because we were basing in the ES. That was off the ES. But yeah, this supply area here, I don't know how well that supply area is going to hold, but I do know that if we've already hit it once and kind of moved away a little bit, and we're already halfway into it. So I don't know that I would want to utilize that level again. Right? And that would be this little area up here. So I don't know that I'd want to use that area again. And if you're looking at this pivot way up here, this pivot up here at 11.5, I think is a pretty quality zone, but that's a retest of this area here to the left. And I actually think that the breakout trade above there is better. So I'd prefer to see us get to this 11,500 level and base inside of it for a really good breakout opportunity above there. All right, sliding back to commodities. So in oil, or in crude oil, I'm not going to add anything else. I'm just going to keep my alert on there. Gold yesterday, we had a confirmation short. This is why we do confirmation levels. What happened to that confirmation level? We blew right through it before an entry was valid. Now, but here's an interesting scenario where we may have a bit of a flip opportunity, because that old area of supply, which was a confirmation entry. Now, by the way, that area worked really well for us the first time we hit it, right? The first time we hit that level, we got a nice move away. But the second time through, we blew right through it. Well, now I'm going to still leave the same level. All I'm going to do is move it to here. And now it goes from being supply to being demand. But it goes back to a green line, and it gets promoted to a limit entry. Why does it get promoted to a limit entry? Well, if I look at my overall trend, while still sideways, is now showing me higher swing highs and higher swing lows. Okay? When I go into the hourly chart, I'm seeing a very strong move away. I would agree, Joe, this is not a great time of the day on this trade, but I'm bolstered by the fact that I'm in an upward trend. Bolstered by the fact that I'm in an upward trend, and my angle of the move away is pretty good, right? When we look at my angles of move away, that's a 90-degree angle. That's a 45-degree angle. That's about 68. So this would score on our trade optimization plan. For those of you guys that are using your trade optimization plan on every trade, the worksheet, this would be a really good clean entry on that because of that move away. Now, once again, I'm still going to look for basing before it comes back into the level. And so as such, I'm going to take my alert. I'm going to move it up to here. Looking for that pullback. Nat gas, we had our gap and go position in Nat gas. Yesterday, we talked about taking some profits off the table as Nat gas hit its profit target. And we spoke yesterday about a potential for a reversal candlestick, and we did actually get a pretty decent reversal candlestick move out of there. And if you went candle to candle on the 4-hour, like we talked about yesterday, lower low, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, you actually ride it down most of the day with an eventual stop out, in the Globex session a little bit later. So that's actually a good way to trade that candle to candle style. I will say the downtrend is slowing its momentum a bit. And so I think that the better move is still for price to come down. So those of you that trade natural gas, look for potential breakdown below here if we get basing. Let's see. Copper is sitting below our breakout level, so we're not quite there as of yet. And then soy and corn. Soy is below our breakout level, has not come back to our 15-minute area of demand, and corn is still above our demand area here. All right, I promised my wife I'd finish on the right time today. So I'm going to share this commodity grid, and then I'm going to throw this in here, and then I'm going to show one or two things in currencies. So that you guys have them. So inside currencies, yesterday we spent a fair amount of time analyzing the Aussie dollar trade. Now this Aussie dollar trade, we wound up breaking out of the symmetrical triangle, but we didn't get the quality basing that's required to break out above 72.91. So if you took the breakout above here, I mean, your stop is down here anyway, but really the better trade is, and we left these lines on here very specifically, the better trade was a retest back to the origin of that move higher, right? So we got the breakout, but then look at the retest move, and then we rallied up. Did anybody grab that quick retest move inside of the Aussie? Because you got a really nice move away on that quick retest, even better than the symmetrical triangle pattern that was created. That was in my mind, that was our trade of the day. That was the setup of the whole day, and had it marked. That's okay. Well, next time just take it, right? I mean, if you've got it marked and you believe in the risk, just take the trade, right? I mean, you got to jump in on those ones. Now, I will say we rallied up to our targeted area. Remember we talked about where the target would be? We hit the target, and then we got a move away in the supply zone that we talked about yesterday. But looking at the supply zone, there's our entry, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles later, the market's right back where we started. And so I don't know how well this supply zone is going to hold to the point where I'm going to remove that area of supply, because I don't know that that's going to hold. But I do like a little bit of a retest back to this little area in here. I'm going to leave the bottom line here for the breakdown, but I like a retest to this little area in here. Now, we've come close to it without getting filled, so it would have to be a confirmation. But that's a very, very clean little wick over wick area before a pretty strong move up. And then looking at my other markets, the euro, not a whole lot in there. The Canadian dollar still in between my zones. The Great British Pound still in between. So nothing really has changed on these currency markets from yesterday. So I know I'm kind of rushing here at the end. Now, the Japanese yen did come into our level on our hourly chart. We came into the zone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles later. How much had price moved? Nothing. And so take your stop, move it to break even. Realistically, this is a break even trade. Remember, that's why our 6 candle rule exists, is for that, right? For that exact purpose. We'll take a look at ZN right quick. In ZN, we're still kind of in an area where I don't see a lot of great opportunities, Tushar. I feel like I'd be forcing it in here. And I just don't think that there's a lot of great levels. I mean, I think it's a better chance for price to continue to come down, but there's no great levels in there for me to lean on. Do we have demand in the yen? You've got a demand level in the yen right here. I think is probably the better of the two. You certainly have this one here that was just recently formed. So either one of those I think are okay for demand. I still want to check for basing before arriving to the level. When I've got them stacked like this, where there's a bit of a space between them, I usually set it up as a confirmation entry as the top one, and then a limit entry as the bottom one. All right, let me share this one here. All right. So I've posted all of the trades to the Traders Army trade feed, and I'll post the links here as well inside of the chat window. But do me a favor though, guys. Today, Corey has a live trade room. Those of you that are Traders Army members, Corey has a live trade room today at 10 a.m. Central. That's going to be our swing and position trade ideas. Make sure if you have the ability to join that one, please make sure that you do. And keep an eye on the updates today, the trade feed updates today as well, that are located on the website. So, as always, if you guys are not Traders Army members and you have questions, please shoot us an email. Let us know. We'd love to have you as part of the community over on the other side. I'm going to put there's a promo code there for 60% off your first month if you want to come and give us a try and see what it's all about. But you guys are amazing. I love you. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be able to go a bit longer, as it won't be the first day of school. Peace out, everybody. Have a great day.